YouTube is slowly dying, and I'm gonna tell you why. YouTube treats its video creators, which are its employees, terribly. They ban, they censor, they demonetize without really having clear definitions of why or when, but they do it anyway. This makes a very unstable work environment for the creators, and every time YouTube bans or censors or demonetizes a video creator, the video creator looks for a different outlet, and it's currently 2018, and there's a lot of different very small business startup companies like YouTube did back in the day, providing content, video content. And some of these are BitChute. VidMe was one, but they misunderstood what they should have prioritized. They should have prioritized the video creators, and they didn't. They prioritized their branding and their money, and I think that led to their downfall. VidMe could have been the next YouTube, but they made the same mistakes YouTube did, but they had less money, so they went bankrupt. I don't know which alternative to YouTube will be the king and which one will overcome YouTube. Right now I'm with BitChute. I hope it's them, but that's only for personal reasons. I really don't know. The company that will overtake YouTube as far as video creation will not ban anyone unless it's extremely obscene, like child pornography or something like that. But they shouldn't ban on political views. They can demonetize it, I guess. They want to solve all their problems by banning people, and all that's going to do is just make another video provider overtake YouTube, because they're just going to, every time they see something's a problem, they're just going to ban it, and that is not the way to handle things. Let people say their ideas, right or wrong, because YouTube is a fantastic melting pot of ideas, and the good ones float to the top and the bad ones sink, and the more time a video is online, the more time it has to float or sink. Right now it's 2018, and I think YouTube's going to be surpassed in about 20 years. It's quite the guess. I have little evidence to back this up, but I don't need evidence to make a guess. I think in 20, it could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 30 years. I'm guessing that YouTube will be surpassed by a different company. There are a couple problems with that hypothesis, because YouTube is owned by Google, and Google's a monopoly, so Google has an incredible amount of sway in their platform and other platforms. So it'd be difficult for a company like BitChute to get traction, because when you look up videos, it's all going to be on YouTube, because YouTube is owned by Google, and Google provides the search engine. So that means Google will be promoting YouTube and kind of shutting down the other companies. Recently, Mark Zuckerberg went on trial in Congress, and he had to testify on behalf of Facebook. And I think the companies, or I think the government is starting to realize how much of an influence social media has. Social media has an incredible influence over what people think, and having a monopoly in that is ridiculous. You can pretty much push any propaganda you want, And if you're a monopoly, then you can pretty much make people believe that, and that's a bad thing. So I hope in 10, 20, 30 years, Congress or the United States government stops Google from being a monopoly. And once Google stops being a monopoly, YouTube is either going to have to change for better when it comes to helping out creators, at least giving them reasons why they're demonetized. Very specific reasons would be fantastic. Play less of an political game would be nice too. Just to have their bias kind of unscrewed a little bit. If that doesn't happen in the next couple of centuries, then YouTube probably will remain the top dog, because any competition is going to be kept down by their overlord and monopoly holder, Google. So my prediction will only come true if either the monopoly of Google is broken, YouTube keeps censoring, demonetizing, banning users from its platform, thus forcing video creators to different platforms like BitChute, Minds too. My prediction that YouTube will be overtaken in the next 10 to 30 years will only come true if YouTube keeps banning, demonetizing, and censoring content providers based only on ideas. It could also happen if Google gets broken up, their monopoly is broken up. That would give room for other sites to get promoted equally and fairly. Pretty much whoever provides content as unbiasedly as possible will overtake YouTube. There could even be multiple. I hope there is. There needs to be something other than YouTube. YouTube is extremely unfair to creators of all walks of life. They're actually quite diverse in how much they censor, demonetize, and ban people, which is sad but true. So with that knowledge, I'm predicting they won't be the reigning video hosting site forever, and frankly the sooner the better, but I don't see anything less than 10 years minimum, and even then that's a stretch. I'm giving it 20, 30 years, possibly longer, but I hope it's within 20 to 30 years. So we're looking at a 2040, 2050, YouTube is overtaken. I really hope it is. Another thing that will contribute to the fall of YouTube is its copyright system. It's incredibly unfair and biased. I've made 2 videos on Steven Crowder. He identifies as a conservative, small government libertarian, and I've used his entire video, 30 minutes, and I think another one was 20 minutes. Used his entire video. I broke it up. I reacted to it, so it's split up with, he'll say something, I'll say something in return. I put overlay text on it, different pictures, and not one problem with YouTube. And then I did one on Vice News. I did the same thing. I used the entire video, and now it belongs to Vice News. It shows some of YouTube's bias, which is not desired in a video hosting website. It really pushes a bad agenda, and whenever you hide videos, it really gives those videos merit. So if they took off extremist content, it could give those videos merit, because people think that YouTube is trying to hide stuff up, which they are, but let the ideas speak for themselves, and time and people will decide how much value those ideas have. Banning is not the answer. People are quite critical and mean on YouTube, and any other video hosting service, as I'm sure there will be in the future. You don't need to protect these people. It really seems like when you ban YouTube videos, especially of political content, it's almost acting like YouTube's trying to protect them. YouTube is acting very scared with these ideas, and it gives these ideas whenever like, let's say YouTube starts banning videos about a certain kind of flavor of soda, like a green soda. It gives the impression that something's up with green soda and YouTube doesn't want you to know about it. So that makes people search out that stuff, like a green soda in this case, and it gives it this like kind of taboo feeling to it, where it's not good enough for YouTube, but what is it? What could they be talking about? I want to know more about this green soda. Is it good? Is it bad? Why did YouTube ban it? Let me find out for myself. Banning ideas is a terrible idea. It gives those ideas way more strength than they would have if they were just let loose on the platform. People are very critical and very mean too on these platforms. Let the ideas defend themselves. It's weird because it's almost like YouTube is defending them by banning them in some weird way, because when you ban these ideas, you don't let them show their flaws, and all you do is you get a whiff of what they're saying, but not actually what they're saying. So it's misinformation with assuming, and then all of a sudden, and banning, and then all of a sudden these ideas have much more merit than they did before. YouTube might seem like it's growing at the moment, viewers wise, content creators, money, and that's probably all true. I don't have the numbers with me, but it's probably fair to assume that YouTube is growing in those numbers. But the number you really want to look at for a decline of a platform such as YouTube is how many creators are leaving it and searching a different platform. So even if YouTube is gaining 30 a day and only losing 10, to keep it simple, those 10 are still every day are going to search a different platform, like BitChute, Minds, in the past VidMe. But the problem is it's not going to stay at 10. If YouTube keeps doing what it's doing, those numbers are going to keep growing and growing and growing, because whenever YouTube is scared that they'll lose their advertising or have their platform look bad, and that's very subjective, and YouTube has their nose in the air of what looks bad and what doesn't look bad, they're just going to ban it or demonetize it or censor it. And every time you do one of those three things, that video creator is going to look for a different outlet. And although demonetizing after the apocalypse is quite common, banning quite isn't. But we're getting close to a slippery slope where that number is going to increase, and when that number increases, there's going to be more video creators looking for a different platform, and that's when YouTube is really going to start hurting. I think the next election in America is going to say a lot about where YouTube is. Right now, obviously YouTube is Democratic, kind of left-leaning, which is fine, but they unfairly push this agenda by hurting content creators they don't agree with. And other ones that are unpolitical that they also disagree with, they'll demonetize or ban. Right now with Trump in office, anytime a creator criticizes Trump, they really like it and they support it because it kind of pushes their left agenda, which is fine. Trump really needs to be criticized, and so did Hillary. Both candidates were awful in my opinion, but happened to be Trump. I would prefer Bernie, but I'm only one vote. Next year, if a Democratic president is elected, I fear that YouTube might be more ban happy or censor happy when someone else criticizes that president. Whenever someone plays for a team like left or right, Democratic, Republican, they get blinded by their own flag waving, and it's difficult then for them to criticize their own opponent, and very easy for them to criticize the other opponent. I do too. It's only human to do this. I fear YouTube might start putting their hands into the political arena when it comes to next year's election, or in the 2020 election. They might not only promote their own side with more money and stuff, but they might also ban more content creators they don't agree with. YouTube is a part of a monopoly, so they have a lot of influence, and they should not be having a ban or not depending if they agree with the election results. And I fear their political beliefs are going to blind them so much that they are willing to play dirty in the political arena. I highly suggest, if you're a YouTuber, to look at different ways of getting money, such as PayPal, Patreon, any sort of way to have the viewer directly give you money, and skip the middleman who is YouTube. I also highly recommend uploading videos on a different website, such as BitChute. That's what I do currently. I'm also looking at different options such as Minds or Gab. Having your videos on different websites will help with demonetization issues and censoring or banning problems that YouTube might have in the future, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna. I don't see them reversing any of the things they've done so far, and the only way to get out of the hole they're in is either to reverse it or to ban more, and I feel like they're just gonna ban more because they feel like if they ban the right people, then everything will be fine, and that is not correct. Banning people is not the solution to a video creation website. Let everyone speak equally, and although it's up to YouTube who they monetize and who they don't, I suggest the least amount of bias possible will produce the best results. YouTube needs to set its standards and its policy much more detailed than it currently has, because some YouTubers will break the conduct rules and they won't get demonetized. Some content creators will not, and they get demonetized. Some content creators, such as PewDiePie, who's the biggest on the site, will have all their money taken from a certain video because there was a 2-second clip that they didn't own. The copyright system is awful on YouTube and needs to be completely overhauled. If someone owns 2 seconds out of a 20-minute clip, they do not get my revenue. Okay, well they shouldn't, but they do. It's ridiculous. That content is mine. It was a product of mine, although I based it off of something else, like I'm referencing something like a video or a picture. The content is still mine. I put it in a certain order, and that order would not have existed if I didn't put it in that order at that time. Maybe someone else would in the future, but at the moment it was me or some other YouTuber who made that. And now because of a 2-second clip, it's owned by someone else. It's completely absurd. And YouTube totally favors the bigger corporations over their own employees. And I hope YouTube either changes and favors their employees more, the content creators, or they are overtaken by as many companies that possibly can in the future. You made it to the end of the video. I have a couple things to say before we part ways. Feel free to edit my videos any way you want, preferably link them back to the original video. If you can afford it, I'm on Patreon. Check out my Twitter, Instagram, and other channels. My grandma helped finance the Canon 80D I'm using, and all other equipment I used will be linked in the description, along with all other relevant links. Have hope that the future will be brighter.